What if love wasn't just about charm, but about architecture, design, and an obsession with perfection? In the world of bowerbirds, the key to winning a mate isn't flashy feathers or beautiful songs. It's about building the ultimate masterpiece. These birds don't just nest. They engineer elaborate courtship displays, using everything from vibrant flowers and berries to perfectly placed shells and even stolen human trinkets. Welcome to BBTV Official, where today we take you deep into the forests of Australia and New Guinea to discover the 20 most stunning bowerbirds on Earth. In the forests of eastern Australia, the satin bowerbird moves like a shadow dipped in ink, its iridescent blue-black plumage flashing brilliant hues in the right light. Males appear almost otherworldly with their sleek, reflective feathers and striking violet eyes, which seem to hold a quiet intensity. In contrast, females and juveniles take a more understated approach, blending into the foliage with olive green and scalloped brown tones, a practical adaptation for staying hidden from predators. At 10.5 to 13 inches long, these birds are medium-sized but command attention through their movements and unmistakable presence in the forest understory. When it comes to courtship construction, satin bowerbirds are meticulous architects with an eye for aesthetics. Males craft avenue-style bowers, two parallel walls made of carefully arranged twigs, creating a passageway on the forest floor. But the real magic is in the details. These birds are obsessed with the color blue, collecting anything that matches their artistic vision. Blue feathers, berries, flowers, bottle caps, even bits of plastic scavenged from human settlements. The bower isn't a nest, it's a stage, a carefully curated gallery where the male will soon perform. When a female arrives, he begins his elaborate ritual, bobbing, fluttering, and offering small blue objects, all while emitting a mix of hissing, clicking, and even mimicry of other birds. If she's suitably impressed, she briefly enters the bower, marking his victory before leaving to construct her own nest elsewhere. Satin bowerbirds flourish in dense forests and woodlands across Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria, favoring areas rich in fruiting trees, insects, and leafy vegetation. While males dedicate their lives to the endless cycle of bower building and performance, females take on the more practical role, raising the next generation in well-hidden nests high above the forest floor. Hidden in the remote rainforests of New Guinea, the masked bowerbird is a striking yet elusive species that few have the chance to see. Males are adorned with brilliant golden-orange plumage, contrasting sharply with a deep black mask that covers their face, giving them a mysterious, almost theatrical appearance. Their glossy black wings and tail further enhance this dramatic color contrast, making them one of the most visually captivating bowerbirds. In comparison, females wear a more subdued blend of olive and brown, allowing them to stay well camouflaged in the dense foliage. At about 10 inches long, this bird may not be the largest, but when it comes to courtship displays, it is one of the most meticulous performers in the avian world. The masked bowerbird is a perfectionist in the art of courtship architecture, constructing an avenue-style bower that serves as both a stage and a gallery of his artistic taste. Using carefully arranged twigs, he builds two parallel walls, creating a tunnel-like structure where he will later perform his elaborate mating display. But his work doesn't end with construction. He meticulously decorates the area with bright yellow and orange flowers, fresh green leaves, and pale-colored objects that contrast beautifully with the forest floor. Every piece is hand-picked, repositioned, and replaced if it doesn't fit the overall aesthetic. When a female approaches, the male launches into a highly choreographed display of wing fluttering, bowing, and rhythmic head movements, all while vocalizing a mix of soft whistles and rapid mechanical-sounding clicks to capture her full attention. The masked bowerbird thrives in the dense, humid rainforests of New Guinea, where it feeds on a diet rich in fruits, nectar, and small insects. While males dedicate their lives to perfecting their bowers and fine-tuning their performances, females take full responsibility for nest building and raising their young, crafting small, well-hidden nests high in the trees for protection. The Vogelkop bowerbird moves quietly through the undergrowth, an expert at remaining unseen. Unlike the more flamboyant members of its family, this species sports a plain brown plumage, blending seamlessly into the mossy landscape. Its unremarkable appearance might suggest an ordinary bird, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Measuring around 10 inches long, it doesn't rely on striking colors to win over a mate. Instead, it has mastered the art of construction and decoration, creating some of the most astonishing structures found in nature. Males construct massive dome-shaped bowers, resembling miniature grass huts with a single entrance. Unlike the more common stick archways seen in other species, these structures are fully enclosed, made from carefully layered sticks, vines, and moss to create a solid and weather-resistant frame. But the real show happens outside. Surrounding the entrance, the male arranges an impeccably curated courtyard, a constantly updated collection of objects that range from berries, flowers, and beetle shells to discarded plastic and bottle caps. Every detail is intentional, with objects placed strategically to enhance contrast and visual appeal. When a female arrives, the male adjusts his decorations, flutters around the bower, and delivers a medley of whistles, clicks, and mimicry, all in an effort to keep her attention just a little longer. The males dedicate their lives to perfecting their bowers, refining their artistic displays year after year. Females take sole responsibility for raising the next generation, building small, well-hidden nests high in the trees. Hidden in the cool, misty highlands of northeastern Australia, the golden bowerbird flits through the rainforest like a flash of sunlight caught in motion. Males are draped in bright golden-yellow feathers, with an olive-brown wash across their backs that helps them blend into the forest when needed. Their compact size, about 8.5 to 10 inches long, makes them one of the smaller bowerbirds. But what they lack in stature, they more than make up for in their sheer determination to impress. In contrast, females and juveniles are a more muted brownish green, built for survival rather than spectacle. These birds, high-altitude rainforests of Queensland's wet tropics, where fruit and insects are plentiful. Unlike their ground-building relatives, golden bowerbirds take courtship to new heights, literally. Males construct massive maypole-style bowers, standing over 3 feet tall, using sticks and vines stacked around a central sapling. These towering structures, which resemble miniature wooden fortresses, are continuously maintained and decorated for years, with older males perfecting their bowers over multiple breeding seasons. Decoration is key. White and pale-colored objects such as flowers, bones, shells, and even moss are carefully arranged to maximize contrast. When a female approaches, the male doesn't simply stand and wait. He flits around the structure, puffing up, bobbing his head, and emitting a mix of chattering calls and soft whistles, all designed to hold her attention just long enough to seal the deal. Golden bowerbirds thrive in the cool, high-altitude rainforests of northeastern Australia, where dense vegetation offers protection and an abundance of food. Their diet consists primarily of fruit, nectar, and insects, making them important seed dispersers in their ecosystem. While males dedicate their energy to building and maintaining their towering bowers, females take full responsibility for nesting and raising their young, crafting well-hidden, cup-shaped nests high in the treetops. The great bowerbird moves with quiet confidence, its dusty gray plumage tinged with soft pink helping it blend seamlessly into its arid surroundings. The male hides a secret, a vivid magenta patch on the back of his neck, only revealed when the time is right. Measuring around 14 inches long, this is one of the largest bowerbirds, using its size and resourcefulness to dominate both its territory and the world of courtship. Unlike species that rely on bright feathers to attract attention, the great bowerbird plays a long game, relying on structure, strategy, and illusion to win over a mate. The great bowerbird is a master of spatial deception, constructing one of the most expansive and intricate bowers of any bowerbird species. These structures stretch over 3 feet in length, forming a long, tunnel-like avenue made of neatly stacked twigs. But what sets this species apart is its unique forced perspective technique. By carefully placing larger objects farther from the entrance and smaller ones closer, the male creates an illusion that makes him appear much bigger and more imposing to any visiting female. His taste in decor is deliberate, favoring white, pale green, and shiny objects. He arranges shells, bones, stones, pieces of glass, and even human-made trinkets in a meticulous pattern that enhances the illusion. When a female arrives, the male positions himself inside the structure, flares his magenta nuchal crest, and begins a theatrical performance of head bobs, wing flicks, and guttural calls, hoping to convince her that his grand design is the most irresistible. Great bowerbirds flourish in dry forests, scrublands, and eucalyptus woodlands across northern Australia, adapting well to a range of environments as long as food sources remain abundant. They feed primarily on fruit, seeds, flowers, and insects, playing a vital role in seed dispersal within their ecosystem. The males continue their endless pursuit of perfection, because in their world, size, illusion, and precision mean everything. The McGregor's bowerbird moves quietly through the dense canopy, an unassuming presence in a world of extravagance. The male wears a cloak of rich, warm brown plumage, subtly accented with a golden-orange crown that catches the light when he moves. His appearance is understated, but his reputation as a skilled architect more than makes up for his lack of flamboyant color. Females, dressed in a similar earthy brown, are built for survival rather than spectacle. At around 10 inches long, McGregor's bowerbird is medium-sized, but when it comes to constructing elaborate courtship displays, his ambitions are anything but small. The McGregor's bowerbird takes nest building to an entirely different level, creating large dome-shaped bowers that resemble miniature woodland huts. These structures, made from an intricate layering of sticks, moss, and leaves, stand out as some of the most complex bowers in the avian world. Unlike species that rely on bright decorations, McGregor's bowerbird focuses on structure and form, ensuring his dome is sturdy, symmetrical, and visually impressive. His attention to detail extends to the clearing around the bower, which he meticulously cleans of debris to create an open, stage-like setting. When a female approaches, the male performs a subtle but deliberate display, moving in slow, calculated motions and emitting a series of soft whistles and clicking sounds, a stark contrast to the more dramatic performances of other bowerbirds. For him, the bower itself is the statement. McGregor's bowerbird, thriving in dense, mossy landscapes where food is abundant. Their diet consists mainly of fruits, insects, and nectar, making them important contributors to their ecosystem's balance. Females handle all aspects of nesting and raising young, constructing hidden cup-shaped nests high in the trees. Meanwhile, the males continue their endless cycle of refinement, reinforcing their structures, adjusting their designs, and ensuring that their bowers remain a masterpiece worthy of admiration. Roaming the dry woodlands and scrubby plains of eastern Australia, the spotted bowerbird is a bird of subtle beauty, blending seamlessly into its surroundings. Its light brown plumage is speckled with pale markings, creating a pattern that mimics the sun-dappled ground beneath the trees. When courting, Males reveal a soft lilac-pink patch on the back of their neck, a stark contrast against their otherwise neutral tones. Measuring around 12 inches long, these birds may not be the largest of the bowerbirds, but their intelligence and creativity make them stand out in other ways. Rather than relying on bold plumage, the spotted bowerbird turns to architecture and artistic arrangement to win over a mate. Males construct elongated stick structures, carefully weaving together twigs to form a passage that serves as the stage for their performance. What truly makes these bowers unique is the bird's refined taste in decoration. They prefer an assortment of light and reflective objects: white bones, pale stones, bleached snail shells, and even bits of metal or glass that catch the sunlight. Yet their courtship isn't purely visual. These birds are remarkable mimics, capable of imitating not only the calls of other species, but also mechanical and environmental noises. When a female arrives, the male moves deliberately through his structure, puffing out his feathers, bowing rhythmically, and delivering a seamless vocal display of clicks, whistles, and borrowed sounds, crafting an experience meant to captivate her completely. The spotted bowerbird thrives in dry forests, savannas, and along rivers, adapting well to semi-arid landscapes where fruit, nectar, and insects are plentiful. Males spend much of their lives refining and maintaining their elaborate bowers, while females take full responsibility for nesting and raising chicks, selecting well-hidden locations in dense vegetation for protection. As the season progresses, the males continue to tweak and rearrange their displays, always searching for the perfect combination of objects and sounds to outshine their rivals. The yellow-breasted bowerbird is an eye-catching yet elusive species. Males are instantly recognizable by their vivid golden-yellow chest, which contrasts sharply with their mottled brown wings and back, giving them a distinguished but natural look. Females and juveniles take on a far more subtle appearance, with olive-brown plumage that blends into the dense vegetation. Measuring roughly 12 inches in length, this species isn't the most imposing of bowerbirds, but its meticulous nature more than makes up for its modest size. The yellow-breasted bowerbird is an artist in the medium of twigs and light, carefully crafting a structured corridor of interwoven branches on the forest floor. This species specializes in low, tunnel-like bowers, where each twig is placed with absolute precision. The true magic lies in its decorative foresight. Males collect pale-colored objects, smooth stones, and fresh green leaves, assembling them into an arrangement that creates a stark contrast against the darker forest floor. They are constantly fine-tuning their bowers, removing any misplaced item, and even engaging in clever deception, stealing prized decorations from rivals while defending their own masterpiece. When a female arrives, the male moves with practiced grace. His feathers ruffle, his body shifts in controlled, rhythmic pulses, and his calls alternate between low guttural notes and high-pitched trills, each movement calculated to hold her attention. The yellow-breasted bowerbird thrives in lowland forests and open woodlands, preferring environments where food, fruits, seeds, and small insects is plentiful. Females lead far more practical lives, constructing simple but sturdy nests in well-hidden locations to protect their young. Meanwhile, down on the forest floor, the males remain devoted to their craft, constantly rearranging, replacing, and defending their bowers, because in their world, only the most carefully curated stage wins the ultimate prize. Amid the rugged landscapes of central and western Australia, the western bowerbird moves effortlessly between dry woodlands and rocky outcrops, its plumage a perfect match for the arid terrain. Its mottled brown body, speckled with lighter spots, provides excellent camouflage among the twisted branches and sun-bleached ground. However, when the time comes to impress, the male reveals his hidden feature: a vivid pink neutral crest, flashing it like a secret signal during courtship. At about 11 inches long, this species is compact and agile, navigating the scrublands with ease as it searches for food, rivals, and, most importantly, the right materials for its masterpiece. The western bowerbird constructs with precision and balance. Males build symmetrical stick corridors, crafting a structured passageway where they will later perform. What makes their bowers stand out is their taste for bold contrasts. Instead of relying on a single dominant hue, they gather pale white bones, bleached snail shells, and smooth green fruits, carefully placing each object in a way that maximizes visual appeal. These birds are not just builders. They are collectors and curators, often stealing prized decorations from nearby rivals. When a female arrives, the male wastes no time. He weaves through his structure, puffing up his feathers, flashing his crest, and producing a series of guttural calls and mimicry, ensuring that every movement and sound draws her deeper into his display. The western bowerbird thrives in dry, open environments, including rocky gorges, mulga woodlands, and riverine habitats, where they survive on a diet of fruit, flowers, nectar, and insects. The females take full responsibility for nest building and chick rearing, carefully selecting well-hidden spots among dense vegetation. Meanwhile, the males remain locked in their endless cycle of creativity and competition, proving that in the harsh outback, success isn't just about survival. It's about building something that demands attention. The fawn-breasted bowerbird is an expert at blending into its surroundings. Its soft, tawny-colored chest, which gives the species its name, is complemented by a mottled brown back and wings, providing excellent camouflage among tree branches and leaf litter. This bird possesses a quiet elegance, with bright yellow eyes that stand out against its muted tones. At around 12 inches long, it is medium-sized but highly active, always foraging for food, or, for males, the next decorative addition to their display. Males of this species are dedicated craftsmen, constructing precisely arranged stick structures on the forest floor. These bowers are built with two upright walls of twigs, forming a narrow corridor where performances will take place. The true art, however, is in the carefully chosen decorations. Unlike some bowerbirds that fixate on a single color, the fawn-breasted bowerbird favors an assortment of pale objects: white stones, bones, pieces of shell, and even discarded bits of glass or metal. Males spend countless hours arranging and rearranging their collections, ensuring that every object enhances the visual impact of the display. When a female arrives, the male moves with precision, tilting his head, puffing up his feathers, and making a series of mechanical-sounding calls, each action designed to hold her gaze and increase his chances of winning her favor. This species thrives in tropical woodlands, riverine forests, and semi-arid scrublands, where it feeds on a mix of fruits, seeds, and insects. As the breeding season continues, males remain engrossed in perfecting their displays, constantly rearranging their treasures and adjusting their stage. Because in their world, attraction is all about presentation, patience, and the perfect balance of form and function. High in the rainforest of northeastern Australia, the tooth-billed bowerbird moves deliberately through the dense undergrowth, its name derived from the sharp, serrated edges of its bill, which help it grip and process tough fruit and leaves. Unlike many of its more vibrantly colored relatives, this bird sports a subtle mix of brown and gray feathers, offering a camouflage well suited for the dappled light of the forest. At about 11 inches long, it is relatively medium-sized, but stands out in a different way. Not through flashy plumage or elaborate bowers, but through an unusual and highly strategic approach to courtship. Rather than constructing a towering structure, the tooth-billed bowerbird takes a minimalist approach to attraction, creating a cleared display court on the forest floor. The male meticulously removes leaves, twigs, and debris, ensuring that the space is perfectly tidy and free from distractions. However, he doesn't discard the leaves entirely. He carefully selects fresh, pale-colored leaves and places them upside down in a deliberate arrangement, ensuring their lighter undersides contrast against the dark earth. This technique turns a seemingly simple ground display into a carefully curated performance space. The bowerbird's focus on cleanliness and contrast highlights his ability to maintain an environment, proving to potential mates that he is both attentive and resourceful. Found in tropical montane forests, the tooth-billed bowerbird thrives in habitats rich in fruiting trees, insects, and dense vegetation. The male continues his work season after season, ensuring his court remains inviting, knowing that in his world, attraction isn't about grandeur, it's about precision, presentation, and the power of subtlety. Draped in glowing gold and deep velvet black, the Regent bowerbird is a sight to behold in the rainforests of eastern Australia. Males wear an almost regal contrast, a bright golden yellow head, nape and wing patches set against an inky black body that gleams in the sunlight. In stark contrast, females and juveniles take on a far more understated look, their mottled brown plumage blending seamlessly into the forest understory. At 10 to 12 inches long, these birds are built for quick, agile movements, flitting effortlessly through the treetops as they search for food and potential partners. If the Regent bowerbird's colors are bold, its bower building skills are even bolder. Males construct avenue-style bowers, carefully aligning two vertical walls of twigs to create a symmetrical walkway on the forest floor. Unlike satin bowerbirds who hoard blue trinkets, Regents prefer a palette of yellow, green, and white, decorating their bowers with leaves, flowers, berries, and even pieces of pale bark. Every detail matters. If an item looks out of place, the male will quickly remove it and replace it with something more aesthetically pleasing. When a female arrives, the performance begins. The male flutters, bows, and quivers, showing off his brilliant plumage while offering a carefully chosen decorative object as a gift. His calls, a mix of raspy croaks and softer melodic whistles, fill the air as he tries to outshine his competitors. Regent bowerbirds inhabit the dense rainforests and eucalyptus woodlands of eastern Australia, particularly in Queensland and New South Wales. Their diet consists primarily of fruits, nectar, and the occasional insect, making them important seed dispersers in their ecosystem. For the males, romance is an endless cycle of construction and performance, because in their world, the best architect gets the girl. Deep in the rainforests of New Guinea, the flame bowerbird moves like a flickering ember, its feathers glowing in hues of molten orange and gold. Males of this species are among the most brilliantly colored birds on Earth, their fiery plumage resembling a sunset burning through the dense canopy. In contrast, females and juveniles wear a subdued mix of brown and olive, blending into the undergrowth to stay hidden from predators. Measuring around 10 inches long, these birds are small, but their presence is anything but subtle. If their colors demand attention, their bower-building skills seal the deal. Male flame bowerbirds construct avenue-style bowers, carefully arranging two parallel walls of twigs on the forest floor. But their obsession isn't just with structure, it's with aesthetics. These birds favor bright yellow and green decorations, meticulously collecting flowers, leaves, and even pale-colored fruits to adorn their creation. Unlike some bowerbirds that scatter their decorations randomly, flame bowerbirds arrange theirs with careful precision, ensuring the perfect visual appeal. When a female arrives, the male's performance begins. He puffs up his feathers, sways from side to side, and offers her his best decorative piece, all while producing a mix of raspy calls and buzzing sounds. If she approves, she steps inside the bower, signaling her choice before departing to build her own nest elsewhere. Flame bowerbirds are found in lowland and foothill rainforest of New Guinea, thriving in humid, fruit-rich environments. Their diet consists mainly of figs, berries, and insects, making them key players in their ecosystem's seed dispersal. The fiery males remain on the forest floor, tirelessly maintaining their elaborate bachelor pads, because in their world, love is built one twig at a time. Hidden within the remote montane forests of western New Guinea, the golden-fronted bowerbird is as rare as it is mesmerizing. Males wear this luminous crown like a badge of distinction, while females, more subtly adorned, blend seamlessly into their surroundings with warm brown plumage. Measuring about 9 to 10 inches long, these birds are small, yet their presence is unforgettable, especially when they begin their meticulous work as master builders. If there were an award for most ambitious bower construction, the golden-fronted bowerbird would be a strong contender. Unlike species that build low, ground-level structures, these birds construct towering, dome-shaped bowers, often resembling small huts with a single entrance. This architectural feat begins with the male carefully stacking twigs and moss, weaving them into a sturdy, arched structure. But the true magic lies in the finishing touches, a carefully manicured courtyard in front of the bower, decorated with fresh flowers, colorful fruits, and even small fungi, all arranged with an artist's precision. When a female approaches, the male becomes a performer, darting in and out of the bower, puffing up his feathers and presenting his best decorations like a proud curator unveiling a masterpiece. Every movement is calculated to impress, for in this world, the right aesthetic choices can determine his future. The golden-fronted bowerbird thrives in the misty, high-altitude rainforests of New Guinea, where thick vegetation provides both protection and an abundant food supply of fruits, seeds, and insects. While males remain fixated on perfecting their elaborate displays, females take full responsibility for nest building and raising the young, carefully selecting well-hidden spots among the trees. The fire-maned bowerbird moves like a flicker of flame through the dense canopy. This elusive species earns its name from the male's vivid fiery orange crest, which flares like embers against his glossy black body. The intense contrast of deep crimson along the neck and crown, set against the sleek darkness of his wings, gives him an unmistakable presence. In contrast, females wear a far more subdued look, a soft mix of earthy browns, ideal for blending into the forest shadows. At roughly 10 inches long, the fire-maned bowerbird isn't particularly large, but when it comes to craftsmanship, he builds like no other. The fire-maned bowerbird doesn't just build a bower. He constructs a stage, an elaborate display meant to captivate an entrance. This species builds a carefully constructed avenue bower, a tunnel-like passage made of neatly placed sticks, forming two symmetrical walls. What sets him apart is his eye for detail. His decorations favor warm tones, bright yellow and orange berries, fresh green leaves, and pale-colored shells, all meticulously arranged to create a visually striking contrast. But collecting and arranging isn't enough. Maintenance is constant, as the male regularly replaces faded materials and ensures his bower remains in pristine condition. When a female arrives, he wastes no time. His crest flares, his body shudders in rhythmic movements, and his calls shift between soft, rapid clicks and long, drawn-out whistles. Every motion, every sound is fine-tuned to hold her attention, just long enough for her to step inside his carefully designed corridor. The Archbold's bowerbird moves like a quiet shadow, an elusive figure in the dense, misty canopy. Unlike its more extravagantly colored relatives, the male is draped in sleek black plumage, his glossy feathers absorbing the dim light of the forest. Females, in contrast, wear a more practical coat of warm brown, offering them better camouflage among the trees. At around 11 inches long, this species is mid-sized, but its method of attracting a mate is anything but ordinary. The Archbold's bowerbird takes a different approach to seduction. Instead of elaborate stick structures, the male creates a minimalist display area, clearing a section of forest floor with painstaking precision. Here, he carefully arranges a selection of brightly colored flowers, fresh leaves, and sometimes even fungi, curating a natural exhibition meant to impress visiting females. Unlike other bowerbirds that rely on complex architecture, this species lets simplicity and contrast do the work. When a female arrives, the male positions himself within the display and begins an exaggerated series of bows, wing flutters, and slow, deliberate movements, ensuring that she notices both his stage and his glossy black plumage. His courtship is quiet, almost hypnotic, with his movements meant to hold her attention long enough to secure her interest. Archbold's bowerbird is native to the high-altitude rainforests of New Guinea, where dense vegetation and frequent mist provide both shelter and an abundance of fruit, seeds, and small insects. While males dedicate their time to perfecting their display grounds, females take full responsibility for nest building and chick rearing, constructing simple, well-hidden nests among the foliage. Below the canopy, the males remain locked in their artistic rituals, adjusting their collections, replacing faded flowers, and refining their performances, because in their world, the perfect arrangement is the difference between being noticed and being forgotten. The streaked bowerbird moves discreetly through the dense undergrowth, often going unnoticed despite its impressive building skills. Its warm brown feathers are streaked with fine, dark lines, giving it a textured, patterned appearance that blends seamlessly into the forest shadows. This species relies on craftsmanship rather than flashiness to stand out. Measuring around 10 inches long, it is medium-sized but fiercely determined, dedicating much of its life to perfecting a structure that will decide its success in courtship. The streaked bowerbird is a true woodland architect, constructing an elaborate maypole-style bower that towers above the forest floor. Instead of forming walls or tunnels, this species carefully stacks sticks and vines around a central sapling, creating a tall, conical structure that resembles a miniature wooden spire. But the work doesn't stop there. The male carefully lines the base of his bower with soft moss and fresh leaves, ensuring that the foundation remains both visually appealing and comfortable for visiting females. The streaked bowerbird prioritizes symmetry and structure, continuously adjusting the arrangement to maintain an aesthetic balance that feels both natural and deliberate. Living in humid, high-altitude forests, this species thrives in an environment rich with fruit, insects, and nectar, which provide the sustenance needed for its demanding construction projects. Males dedicate themselves entirely to building and maintaining their towering bowers, while females focus on nesting and raising their chicks in well-hidden locations high in the trees. Meanwhile, the males remain at their sites, constantly refining their structures, adding fresh materials, and defending their work from rivals. Because in this world, a well-built bower isn't just decoration. It's a statement of skill, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Hidden within the lush rainforests of eastern Australia, the green catbird moves discreetly through the dense canopy, its vibrant green plumage camouflaging it perfectly among the leaves. It uses its distinct, cat-like wailing calls to communicate across the treetops, often stopping those unfamiliar with its eerie cry in their tracks. At 10 to 12 inches in length, the green catbird is stocky and strong, its pale speckled feathers adding texture to its otherwise seamless blend into the foliage. Though its colors may not scream for attention, its approach to nesting is anything but ordinary. Rather than constructing decorative bowers on the forest floor, green catbirds focus their energy on building secure, well-hidden nests in the trees. The female is the primary architect, selecting a dense thicket or high branch as the foundation for her structure. Using woven twigs, vines, and leaves, she crafts a deep bowl-shaped nest, carefully lined with soft plant material and moss to create a comfortable space for her future chicks. The location is key. Tucked away in thick vegetation, it offers protection from predators and the elements. The males obsess over perfecting an elaborate display. The green catbird's approach to nest building is entirely functional, prioritizing safety and comfort over aesthetics. These birds thrive in subtropical rainforests and eucalyptus woodlands, where they feed on fruits, flowers, and small insects. Green catbirds form monogamous pairs, with both parents playing a role in raising their young. While the female takes the lead in nest building, the male stays nearby, defending the territory and providing food. Their nests may not be grand architectural feats, but in the dense, unpredictable rainforest, a sturdy, well-hidden home is often the key to survival. A testament to the fact that not all love nests need to be extravagant to be effective. The spotted catbird is a secretive presence among the thick foliage. Its rich green plumage, speckled with white flecks, helps it disappear into the dappled light of the forest, making it more often heard than seen. True to its name, this bird produces an eerie, feline-like call, a mix of wails and growls that echoes through the treetops. At about 10 to 12 inches in length, it has a solid, compact build, built for maneuvering swiftly through tangled branches. Unlike its relatives that construct elaborate ground displays, the spotted catbird takes a different approach to winning over a mate by crafting a secure and durable nest high above the forest floor. When it comes to nest building, the spotted catbird prioritizes structure over spectacle. The female, taking full control of construction, carefully selects a dense, hidden location in the upper branches of a tree, ensuring the nest is well shielded from predators. Using a combination of twigs, vines, and large leaves, she weaves together a deep, cup-shaped nest, reinforcing it with softer materials like moss and fine plant fibers to create a well-insulated interior. The nest isn't meant to be decorative. It's built for functionality, designed to hold firm through heavy rains and strong winds. The spotted catbirds invest in a different kind of security, the ability to raise chicks in a protected, stable environment. Living in rainforests and dense woodlands, these birds thrive on a diet of fruits, seeds, nectar, and small insects, playing an essential role in seed dispersal. The female is the nest's primary builder. The male is never far away, often guarding the territory and helping provide food once the chicks hatch. In contrast to the showy bower-building species, the spotted catbird's focus is on the nest itself rather than its surroundings. There are no decorative courtyards, no stolen trinkets, just a sturdy, well-hidden refuge, proving that in the wild, sometimes the most effective way to secure a future is not through performance, but through careful craftsmanship and strategic placement. The white-eared catbird moves discreetly through the dense canopy, its presence often revealed only by its unusual feline-like calls. Its name comes from the distinct white patches behind its eyes, which contrast sharply against its rich green plumage, dappled with darker markings that help it blend into the leaves. Measuring around 10 to 12 inches long, this species is sturdy and agile, perfectly adapted for navigating the tangled branches of the rainforest. Unlike many of its bowerbird relatives, it doesn't rely on grand displays to impress a mate. Instead, It focuses on creating a well-protected nest hidden high above the forest floor. When it comes to nest building, the white-eared catbird is an expert in concealment and durability. The female takes full charge of construction, carefully selecting a dense thicket or well-hidden branch as the foundation for her nest. Using a mix of woven twigs, vines, and palm fibers, she forms a deep, bowl-shaped structure designed to cradle her eggs securely. The interior is lined with soft moss and dry leaves, creating a warm, insulated environment for the developing chicks. Unlike the elaborate, decorative displays of traditional bowerbirds, this catbird's priority is ensuring the nest is sturdy enough to withstand storms and hidden well enough to avoid predators. The white-eared catbird thrives on a diet of fruits, berries, and small invertebrates, playing a key role in seed dispersal. While the female dedicates herself to nest building and raising the young, the male defends their territory and provides food when necessary. Their courtship rituals lack the theatrical bowers of their relatives, but their nesting instincts ensure that the next generation is given the safest possible start. In their world, the greatest love nest isn't the one that dazzles. It's the one that endures. Bowerbirds have redefined what it means to impress a mate, proving that creativity, patience, and precision can be just as powerful as strength or beauty. Each species, with its own unique building style, showcases nature's endless ingenuity and the fascinating ways animals adapt for survival. But these intricate courtship rituals depend on the survival of their habitats. As deforestation and climate change threaten their forests, protecting these environments means preserving one of nature's most remarkable love stories. Which bowerbird's masterpiece impressed you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BBTV Official for more amazing wildlife stories.